Hi friends. Oh, sorry for the wait. I was going to get some food and then distraction happened, as it does. Yeah, I'm a bit scatterbrained still. Today is not a perfect day, but we're making it work. John, why are you screaming now? And what about? I'm about to start content. How dare the cat? Yes. Got it prepared. Gonna manage 2 windows today, because I'm doing a dangerous thing and I'm sharing a browser. It's a guest session, so shouldn't be any doxing stuffs. But yeah, I can open anything and it's gonna be there. We'll see if it bites me or if it works. But yes, this is what I'm planning to do today. Advent of Code. I know it's past New Year's. It's not necessarily Christmas anymore. But there's still snow outside my window, and as far as I know, these are fun puzzles, so I'm just gonna do it. No one can stop me. Advent of Code, gonna say a few things about it in a bit. Let me check if there's anything else I want to do beforehand. Oh, but mic is fine, Spotify seems fine. Yeah, I think we got everything sorted. As long as John doesn't want to interfere with the microphone now. So, about Advent of Code. Not gonna read through the whole thing, no worries. Just want to have something on screen. Eric Wastel is, or has been doing for 10 years now. Over 10 years. Technically. Yep, technically 11 years. Advent of Code, a collection of puzzles and coding problems that sometimes can be done on pen and paper without coding, so not necessarily coding challenge, but more problem solving challenge. But as soon as there's math involved, I'd rather let the computer do it. I discovered this through Dave Eddy, a content creator who streamed this over the course of December with the puzzles for 2025. So I know a bit about the first few of those. Yeah, math. It might come to that as well. Maybe we can start with logic, we'll see. Yeah, since I know some of the 2025 puzzles, I'm gonna start with the oldest ones from 2015, just to check what they're like, and in hopes of forgetting what I know, because I, yeah, basically spoiled that for myself. But I think it's fine. But yeah, it's technically an advent calendar of small puzzles for any skill level, for any programming language, any scripting, whatever. As long as you can take in some text and put out some results, you're done. No graphics need to be involved or anything. Just text in, text out, and everything else is up to you. I don't know how long I'm gonna take for each puzzle. From what I heard, there are some puzzles that people solve in 5 minutes, and some they solve in 5 to 8 hours. So, no idea how far we're going to get. Anything else noteworthy here? Yeah, people are sometimes trying for fast solution times. I'm just gonna go for solution. Not gonna go for the fastest times, because I will stress myself out and just do bullshit in my code. So yeah, not gonna bother myself with speed solving anything here. Yeah, so the puzzles are linked to their respective days. The start, Eric did 25 puzzles. In later years, or just recently, he switched over to doing just 12, because he's doing that in his free time, and he has family and job and needs to sleep and all that, so I respect that. It's still a huge undertaking that he's doing here for a community that can pay something, but it is a free site and anyone can join in on the fun. And I think, yes, it comes with a bit of a story each year. So we're gonna get in there and see what 2015 has in store for us. And then we're gonna get over to coding some of that. That code will also at the end be available on my GitHub, because I just want to store it somewhere and I have it, so it makes sense to me. Let's see, day one, not quite Lisp. I think Lisp is one of the older programming languages as well. Let's see if we have any references to that, but I'm not that familiar with it. Not that familiar, he says. I don't know anything about Lisp, but well. Santa was hoping for a white Christmas, but his weather machine's snow function is powered by stars, and he's fresh out. To save Christmas, he needs you to collect 50 stars by December 25th. Yeah, we're a bit behind on that. Collect stars by helping Santa solve puzzles. 2 puzzles will be made available on each day in the Advent calendar. The second puzzle is unlocked when you complete the first. Each puzzle grants 1 star. Good luck. Here's an easy puzzle to warm you up. Santa is trying to deliver presents in a large apartment building, but he can't find the right floor. The directions he got are a little confusing. He starts on the ground floor, which is ground 0, then follows the instructions 1 character at a time. An opening parenthesis means he should go up 1 floor, and closing parenthesis means he should go down 1 floor. The apartment building is very tall and the basement is very deep. He will never find the top or bottom floors. For example, let's see. Open, open, close, close, and open, close, both result in floor 0. Makes sense. Open, 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 and open, open, close, open, close, open, close, close. No, open. Both result in floor 3, okay. Also results in floor 3. Hi, Mira. Welcome in. That combination both result in floor -1, the first basement level. And that other thing both result in floor -3. Okay, we're just starting with, well, math, maybe counting, but yeah, it's technically still technically just counting, which is technically math, so we'll see. Energy in that. Yeah, to begin, get your puzzle input, submit the answer. You can also share this puzzle. Yeah, Froggy. Welcome in. It's just counting. We can do counting. We're just doing +1 and -1, but we're doing it with symbols, because why not? So Santa is always starting on 0 and then goes up or down something. Let me take the example input and I crochet, it's proven I cannot count. Yeah, fabric arts are a thing. Let me get you over to my code. Yeah, I'm coding in Visual Studio Code. You evil Microsoft, yes, I know. There is a Microsoft freed version of Codium, because Code is technically open source, but in Visual Studio Code, Microsoft packages some proprietary stuff. It's fine. It's fine. I turned off telemetry. Microsoft will surely respect that and do nothing nefarious with my little coding puzzles things, so we'll see. I prepared a development environment and a few folders for each day. And yeah, that's basically what I'm gonna use to save my progress here. And for start, let me note the example. And please tell me if the code is large enough on your screens. I just zoomed in for some part and yeah, hope it'll be fine. Just quick formatting here. Alright, here we go. Got the example description in my README. We'll go on up on opening. Was that the case? Let me... where's my code? Opening parentheses is going up one floor. Yep, that makes sense. John, please leave my mask alone. Thanks. Going floors up and down. Okay, just noting it down for myself, so I have the most important info on hand. And I'm writing to the Advent of Code year README. That's wrong, I wanted to in the day README. Let's see. Day 1, there we go. Why are you still highlighted as modified? You shouldn't be modified. Don't confuse yourself. It's only gonna hurt. Git isn't keeping up yet. Okay. Yeah, about what I'm doing here in this window. Code IDE or integrated development environments are mostly text editors with a bit of fancy stuff on the side. Most important parts for me are I have my files and folders on the side, and if I open it up, I have a terminal that's gonna help me execute stuff, and I have it all in one place, and I am somewhere in my currently in the root directory of my project. I'm gonna dive down there in a bit. I'm taking notes in Markdown, which is just plain text with a bit of extras, and if you throw that through a compiler, you usually get a PDF or HTML or whatever be the case. So with pound signs, yes, that's not a hashtag. That may be a hash, but not a hashtag. With pound signs, I get headings. With backticks, I can do code formatting and all the fancy stuffs, and I can have links and all that. So I'm linking my task, I have in my notes. Maybe I should do this as a list so it doesn't get formatted weirdly. Yeah, or broken weirdly. Should be in new lines, and this is the easiest way without getting empty lines in between all. The programming language I am most familiar with, despite having dabbled in some things here and there. Most familiar I am with PowerShell. Again, evil Microsoft. It's fine. I've learned it on the job, and it's fine. PowerShell is a shell language originally, meaning mostly scripting, maybe some administrative stuffs. For the most part, it does its job. I prefer it to things like Bash, being the born again shell, one of the more popular shells over in the Linux world. Though it's also available on Windows and Mac and everywhere. Most shell languages only work with text input and output. On the other hand, PowerShell knows objects. It knows what a number is, and more complex objects with properties and all that fancy stuff. And that's oftentimes pretty helpful. If I were to do this in pure Bash, I would always be calling on other programs to manipulate objects, and I'm just faster in PowerShell, so that's what I'm going with. So let me get a new file in here. Invoke solve.ps1. PowerShell naming convention for functions, and by extension sometimes scripts, is just a verb minus whatever it's supposed to do. I want to solve the task, so starting the script is going to be invoking the script, so invoke solve. That's cool. I'm just going to tell my operating system that this is to be executed with PowerShell. User bin env pwsh. Okay, pwsh being the PowerShell command line executable since PowerShell version 6, and version 6 is also the one when it started to be cross-platform. I am running all this under Linux. Yeah, which is why I can't use Windows PowerShell. Also, Windows PowerShell is version 5.1 and earlier. That's old stuff. Why should I use old stuff? I'm just doing my silly little scripting. Latest version is version 7.5. If I can type. Since there's a few differences between PowerShell versions, I'm just gonna note down that I'm working with version 7. These required comments are a special PowerShell thing. They are used to tell the PowerShell interpreter what is required to run this script. In my case, it's the PowerShell version. It can also do modules if specific packages are to be installed beforehand, or whether or not the script needs admin privileges or whatever the case may be. For me, it's just give me version 7 and we're gonna be fine. Okay, let me get here function advanced. Even though I'm just using, even though I'm using a script, I don't need the function part. And let me do this. Okay. So what am I doing here? I have a param block that is going to define the parameters of my either function or program. commandlet binding is doing some higher system stuff, brings some default parameters with it. And then PowerShell functions and scripts have the structure of a begin, process, and end block. Those are totally optional. All three of them are optional. When a function is called, at first the begin block is executed. Then if it has just one input, it's going to be processed in the process block. If there's a list of inputs, then the process block is going to be run for all these inputs that are in the list. And if all that's done, it's going to run the code in the end block, and that's going to be fine. If I don't need one of them, I can just omit them all. If I'm omitting them all, it's going to default to the process block, so everything is going to be as if it was in the process block, and that's fine for me. What do I want first? First I want a parameter with a path. Oh, that's a lot. Let's do that easier. Just a parameter. There we go. I can give it a comment that is usually moved up to a documentation comment at the start. But yeah, it's fine here. This denotes a parameter, it has a type, it has a name, and after that mostly behaves like a variable. Path to input, that's what I want to do. We don't need any additional attributes. I'm gonna do that as a string, and it needs a name. Input path, there we go. I can also assign a value right here, just to have a default. It's just gonna be, let's go with example .text, because it's mostly always gonna be a, yeah, it's always gonna be text input for these puzzles. And the first thing I want to do with that is to get what's in that file. So I'm gonna do get content to get the content, and the path is gonna be my input path, and that's gonna return whatever is given or whatever is located in the example.txt file. Let me create a new file, example.txt. Let me grab one of the examples. So this should be A3. Let's see about that. Okay, get content path, input path. That should return that. So now I can, for one, move over there. Add-on of code 2015 A1. There we go. And I should be able to call the invoke solve script. There we go. I just called the script without any parameters, so it took the default values of the only available parameter. And this is what we wrote in the example file, so that part works. PowerShell has, as a shell language, the behavior that if an output of a function is not redirected somewhere, it will be printed to the terminal. So since I didn't do anything with the output here, like putting that in a variable, let's say input, if I can type. Since I didn't do that beforehand, it's just gonna be on the terminal. Now there's no output because I put the output of got content into the input variable and it's not going anywhere. But now that it's in a variable, we can do things with it in our program. The other thing I can do, is aside from invoking or calling the script itself, I can just go into any line, press F8 on my keyboard, and it will execute the current line. Or I can mark a part to do the same thing. So I just marked the part with get content in the input path. Input path was set beforehand. Let me actually kill that so we have a bit more space. So we have a bit more. Thanks. Yeah, so it wasn't redirected anywhere, so I have the full input, full output. Doing it like this, we now have the input variable, because I executed this inside of my that looks weird. Okay, it looks like input is a special variable. Oh yeah, the variable input is an automatic variable that is built into PowerShell. Assigning to it may have undesired effects. If assignment is not by design, please use a different name. Okay. So then it's input text. Variable is assigned but never used. That's fine. Input text, there we go. Okay, now we have that as our variable value. Yeah, if I execute the script, it's going to execute the whole thing, and any variables that are set within the script are not available outside of it, so the shell doesn't have those variables afterwards. Since I called these things directly inside my terminal, I have it available. Also, let me try this other thing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into getting this part shorter. It's nice to know in what path I am, but having the whole thing is maybe a bit much. Yeah, and this is just some info output about my current Git status. For those unfamiliar with Git, Git is, depending on who you ask, a or the source code management tool, or code versioning tool, or any content versioning tool. So it takes whatever you give it and yeah, keeps track of any changes. I can make a so-called commit, so a snapshot of the current status of my whole code repository, so everything in the folder that Git is monitoring. And I can take that and yeah, have these commits in a line that is a branch. And since it's a whole tree structure, you get the theme, I can branch off of my main branch into different branches, have different commits over there, switch back over to my main branch, and I have the same state as I had when I started the other branch. That allows parallel development of different features that yeah, shouldn't interfere with each other during development, and then those branches can be merged back into the main branch to get yeah, get the new feature or whatever you've been developing or adding back into the main project. And it's available to anyone who either uses the main branch or branched up after you merged. Yeah, and energy is hopefully gonna kick in at some point. Today has been a day called out of work, so yeah, was feeling bad enough not to work, so let's see how much problem solving I'm actually able to do, but this one should be doable. Caffeine, save me. Okay, now that we have our input text, let's see what we can do in there. It's a string. It's a string of parentheses, And the problem set starting at 0 will go on floors up and down when we open or close parentheses. So we could go through the string one by one, and anytime we encounter an open parentheses, we add 1 to our floor counter, or we subtract 1. Or what I think could be faster and a bit more interesting would be to just count the occurrences in the string. Maybe I'm gonna do both. Who knows? Because I'm thinking about how to count how many times a character is in a string, and I'd have to look that up, which is a lot of coding. Just looking up how does this work again? I knew that at some point, maybe, or looking for something new. But splitting a string into its characters, that should be fine. So input text is a string. I can also denote that as a string, like I did with the parameter. But get content without any parameters gives back a string array with a string for each line of the file, so I'm not going to do that here. But what I can do is a character array. So character is just a singular character, while a string is a string of characters, or a list of characters, if you want to put it like that. And this is the notation for a array. So if I do this, unable to find type character. Okay, is it just a char like in so many other languages? Yeah. So when I typecast, meaning convert at the time of calling it, the input text variable into a character array, I get each character of the string as type of a, or as part of a list. So I have an array. So I can go through those with any loop that I would like. So for each in blah, I'm gonna do a floor change in input text. So for each floor change in input text, there we go. So I'm taking my list, or array in that case technically, and each element in there I can do some operation on it. Let's see, yeah, still works. And now I can do if or else. I could also do a switch, but there's just supposed to be 2 things, and I'm just gonna program for the input that I'm expecting, not catching any other things right now. So if something, the floor change is equal to a opening parentheses, else it's going to be closing parentheses. So here's the code where we want to open something. We're going to start on a floor, which is the floor 0 at first. On opening parentheses, we are going up 1 floor. So I could either do floor equals floor plus 1, or I can do a shorthand. If I'm just adding or subtracting 1, I can just write plus plus. Not sure which one started that, if it was the C programming language. C is one of the older ones with its later iterations of C++ and C#, which has a pound sign. No idea why it's called sharp. But yeah, all those languages on which Microsoft developed their .NET framework. That was a framework for C#. And .NET is the language in which, or the framework in which PowerShell or Windows PowerShell was originally developed. So PowerShell also has this feature. It just evaluates this this part of the evaluates this variable and afterwards increments it by 1. If I were to write ++ in front of it, then it would add +1 for returning it. So this could be used in some string output and would be available there. And either before it's put out to the terminal or after it would be incremented. Let me get the variable set as 0, and now I'm incrementing it. So now if I ask it, it's going to be a 1. So what's the easiest way to do that in reverse? Exactly, minus. So if I do that and ask the variable, it's a 0 again. Okay, and in the end, I'm just gonna return my floor variable, because that is the value that we're interested in when calling the script. Let's invoke solve, and we're getting a 3. So that is in line with what we're supposed to get here. And if I were to take a different example, we should get -1 like it said in the example description. Okay, nice. Now that we got that, let me get back to my browser. Get your puzzle input. Oh boy. That's a lot. New file. Input. .text. Gonna show you in a bit. It wasn't written here, but usually with, at least with the later examples, later puzzles, it's set to not share the input, because there's a handful of inputs that produce a handful of outputs, and every user gets randomly assigned one of those for racing purposes and all that. With this being 2015, I don't think anyone's gonna mind, but yeah, don't have to force getting called out on that. So invoke solve does have a parameter of input path, and let's do the, come on, oh yeah, input.text, and I'm getting a 138. So going back to the browser, we have an answer field here and submit. And that's the right answer. You are 1 gold star closer to powering the weather machine. Okay, nice. So that was the easy part. The first half of the puzzle is complete, provides 1 gold star. Part 2. Now, given the same instructions, find the position of the first character that causes him to enter the basement. The first character in the instructions that has position 1, the second character that has position 2, and so on. Well, okay. For example, close causes him to enter the basement at character position 1. Okay. Open, close, close causes him to enter the basement at character position 5. Okay. What is the position of the character that causes Santa to first enter the basement? Okay. Okay, we can do that. Let me rename that to invoke solve 1 and create a copy of that. Come on. There we go. Copy, paste. Now we have it. That's supposed to be easier. Invoke solve 2. Getting with the example again. So if I take this, this should move to give me position 5. Let's save that. Okay. Invoke solve 2. We are starting again with the same code that we just wrote. The logic is still the same, but we don't want the resulting floor. We want to know when it is first when the first time when Santa enters the basement the first time. Hard words. Okay, in that case, let's do a different type of loop. For each item of a list, but there's also the basic for loop. Let me take that, which goes with a counter. Classically, the variable name is I for integer, which is a whole number type. Starting at 0, we could start anywhere. For this, I think we want to start anywhere. I'm gonna go into logics in a moment. So we have this set of parentheses with semicolon separated things. So we are setting an initial value for I. We are checking whether I is less than the length of an array, or whatever other value we are dealing with, and yeah, counting up, incrementing I by 1 at the end. That part is done after every iteration. This is evaluated before every iteration. If it's true, we're executing the next iteration of the loop. If not, we're breaking out of the loop and returning with the code after it. So now I'm gonna move that over here. And yeah, we're gonna work with the input text. Input text is technically not an array, it's a string, so it doesn't have a count, but it does have a length. So as long as I is less than the length, should be fine. Yeah. And incrementing that. Okay, so we don't want to return floor anymore, so that's irrelevant. But we are doing still the increment or decrement of the floor. Though it's not going to be floor change, it's going to be the input text at wherever we are in the loop. So we are indexing the string, or usually would be an array, but let me get the return back actually for a moment. Floor. Okay, so this would solve 2. Getting out at -1, that seems correct, because we have one more closing than opening. Okay. So a array, or also a string, which is under the hood a array or list of characters, can be indexed through square brackets and giving it an index number. So we are taking the index number, putting it in, getting the character, and we're done with it. This also means whatever I is within our current iteration is gonna be wherever we are in the string. So that's gonna be identical. We want to know the first character that brings us in the basement. So that's gonna be something we have to check for. So if we have a condition, if floor is less than 0, as soon as we are in negative floor numbers, meaning in the basement, we want to get out of this loop and inform the user of whatever character we are at. So I'm just gonna write something, and I'm gonna write something to the host, meaning the terminal. Character I, there we go. Gonna do that. I have to look into the curl brackets syntax. It's usually around strings within another string, but it also works with other types that are then cast to string, but that's also done without them. It's mostly for when we have following text, because if you don't have that, this would be the full variable name, and that isn't set. So I'm just doing that for style reasons usually. Though I actually don't have to write it, I can just return it. And it's gonna be fine. $I, there we go. Okay, so index 4. Now, the fourth character is this, but it starts counting with 0. So what we actually want to do, this time not doing this because I don't want to change the actual variable, just work with its output. Just going to add 1 to get a 5. Okay, that sounds all right. Let me rename that. Oh, the inputs should be the same. So input path takes the local file input text, and this is why I don't want to do this by hand. So character 1771 seems to be the one where we switch over to the basement for the first time. So let's see if that is correct. That's the right answer. You are 1 gold star closer to powering the weather machine. If completed day 1, you can share this victory or return to your advent calendar. And now we have 2 gold stars for the puzzle of day 1, and we have illuminated the first row of our Christmas tree. So all the gray stuff is gonna vanish over time. That's nice. There's a lot of talking that I'm not used to. Please keep yourselves hydrated. We're an hour in already as well. Yeah, since I'm logged in, I can have my star counter up here as well. I think this counter will be accumulated over all the years, not just for the current one. We'll see. Let's read into number 2 and see where we get. Day 2, I was told there would be no math. Yeah, that's always a lie. So as soon as there's logic, math is just right around the corner. The elves are running low on wrapping paper, so they need to submit an order for more. They have a list of the dimensions, length, width and height of each present, and only want to order exactly as much as they need. That's resourceful. Fortunately, every present is a box, a perfect right rectangular prism. That's a link. Do I want to know? We're going to Wikipedia. Rectangular cuboid. Yeah, it's a box. Which makes calculating the required wrapping paper for each gift a little easier. Find the surface area of the box, which is 2 times length times width plus 2 times width. Yeah. Getting the surfaces, counting them all, putting them together. The elves also need a little extra paper for each present, the area of the smallest side. Okay, so they are calculating with some overlap. Smallest side. So one of these 3 is going to be times 3 and not times 2. Present with the dimensions 2 by 3 by 4 requires 2 times 6 plus 2 times 12 plus 2 times 8 equals 52 square feet. Why is it feet? Square units. We're not doing that freedom stuff over here. Of wrapping paper plus 6 square feet of slack for a total of 58 square feet. Okay. Present with dimensions 1, 1, 10 requires 42 plus 1 for the smallest side for a total of 43 square feet. Okay. All numbers in the elves list are in feet. How many total square feet of wrapping paper should they order? To begin, get your puzzle input. Let me get that over. Okay, so that's the format. Day 2, new file, input, dot, text. Gonna enter the whole thing. They have 1,000 packages in their order list. Okay, great. Also gonna get you over here. Again, an example dot text, just to see what we get. And we're gonna need the sum of it all, because we only give one answer, not 1,000 answers. So that part. Okay. Let me get the 2 examples over. So this is the format of the input file as well. Yeah, which of these is which one is not all that relevant to us. It's only relevant that we use the numbers. Gonna take this as a starting point, or maybe even copy, paste. There we go. I can close folder 1. There we go. We don't have floors, we have feet, which is always fun on the internet. But yeah, we have the example txt, and then we go from there. Going up 1, going over to day 2. Not doing anything. Why? Because we are taking a variable again. But yeah, we have our input text. Like I said earlier, get content doesn't give the whole content of the file, but gives each line of the file as an array. So we can just iterate over the input text. We can even say the input array there. and see where we go from there. For each item being each present in our input array. Let me test that real quick. Just doing that as a string. Okay, so for each present in our array, we are now getting the string prefix present and then the present dimensions. Okay, so that part works nice. We want to get the dimensions. So let's see, what was the order? Let me check. Length, width, and height, just because I can. Length, width, and height. Okay. All of these are gonna need a value, so we are taking the present and we're gonna split that at the character X. There we go. This would be the PowerShell way to write it. I can then operate on that by doing it in parentheses, or I can just do the .NET syntax and call it as a function. There we go. So we have a 0, 1, 2. There we go. So what are we doing? We have a string for which we know it has something, x something, x something. I want the things between, before, after, and between the x's. So I'm just gonna split it at the x, take that out, and then get a list back, an array back of strings that are between the separators. And if I have an array, I can put in an index, thing we did in the other puzzle with a 0, no, with the variable I. And yeah, from there we can just put in numbers and get the things. Gonna do a quick test again. So getting a string. Lang is $L. WH, width and height. Let me get that iterated again. Lang with height, lang with height. Okay, we got our variables with their expected values. That part is fine. So we're gonna calculate the sides, meaning we have 6 sides, of which we have to calculate 3 and just double them. Let me start with the left, and then we're also gonna do the top and front. And we can just take all of these and double them up for our final count. And they're all gonna be something times something. Length with height. So the left is gonna be the length and the height. The top is gonna be the width times the height, and the front is... No, the top is the width times the length, and the front is the width times height. Okay, we have each of them somewhere in here. Twice somewhere in here, so that should be fine. We also need the info of the smallest side. Side, not sewed. Doing some magic here. Math has a min function. Yeah, that can take an array of things. What do you actually take? Does it take any number of parameters, or do I need to make those a list? It's not the sides, it's the it is the sides, but I took the measurements. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. The type math, if I call it as a class, yes, as a class, has functions that I can call without having an object of the thing. And the type math gives me, or class math type, I think it's type in this case, gives me a min function, which takes parameters and gives me the lowest of the numbers that I put in. This would be for integers, meaning whole numbers, as well as those with a comma or period, fractions, so-called float point numbers. A lot of words, half of them mean something different this side of the pond than beyond, and words are hard. Like I said earlier, I called out of work because I'm not fully there, and working in language doesn't make things easier. But yeah, we have a variable smallest side that should contain the smallest side. So the actual value that we want to get out of this is the square feet of wrapping paper needed for the thing, for the present. So we have to do some multiplication and addition here. We want 2 times the left one, and also top and front, and plus 1 times the smallest one. What am I doing here? My cursor is doing weird things that I did not expect. Okay, but both of these 2 times. And I also want the smallest side. And for all of these, I'm gonna do an addition. There we go. PowerShell does this automatically, but I want it for my readability to know where I am multiplying things. I'm just going to put it in parentheses. So 2 times the left side plus 2 times the top side plus 2 times the front side plus the smallest side. So we have the full box surface and the smallest side as overlap or slack or whatever. Wrapping paper amount, whatever. The amount of wrapping paper that we need for this present. We want also want to know the full amount. But for now, let me just write host. Why am I now writing somewhere and not just returning? if I return the function execution and by proxy the script execution will stop, but we have multiple things that we want to accomplish, which is why we have this for each loop. So I'm just going to write it out. And let's see where that gets us. If I call the whole script, cannot find an overload for min and the argument count 3. Okay, apparently it takes a single argument. So at and parentheses in PowerShell denotes an array. So we're putting the 3 in an array and giving the array as one single argument to the min function. Let me save that and call it again. Actually, let me look up the min function itself, because that is ridiculous. Please tell me I showed you my code editor in the meantime, not the browser the whole time. Yeah. Okay, the math min method from the .NET language. It just takes 2 numbers. I mean, I can just call it twice, but isn't there... Okay, Les, thanks for confirming. There has to be some way to do that. That's a lot of white. Sorry for that. Okay, that is a different... Oh yeah, measure object exists. True. That should be fine. Let me take that. So, measure object takes an object and gives me some info on it. Let me check real quick. Do we have any values in here? No, we don't. Do we have something now? No. Let me get an input array. Let me get some values here. Okay, now we have things. That's very long. Tell me real quick, what's the present? Those are 10 ones. Should be 10. Because they're strings. Okay, what was happening here? We had strings and I told PowerShell to do something X times. And since whatever was back here is a string, it did not get converted into a number automatically, but it just printed the string this many times. And with the length being 10, it printed the height of 1 just 10 times. Yeah. Okay, let's see. There's that key. There we go. There we go again. Okay. Now we have expected numbers. 10, 1, 10. Now we put that through measure object. I get nothing. Why do I get nothing? Yeah. All stats just to get it all. No. Still not. Object array is not numeric. That is correct. We just want the minimum anyway. There we go. So measure object can do something to various object types. For an array, it can't do everything it seems, but usually it can do... It didn't do it here either, great. It can count the number of things you handed, do an average, do a sum, max, min, standard deviation, and something about property. Measure object, give me the full thing. Maybe not in German. Maybe in something that's actually understandable. Without cookies, thanks. Generic measure, text measure. Okay, so it takes a pipe, I guess. So most shells have some way of piping output of one thing to the next one, meaning handing whatever output you get from one function into the next, and that is done with this vertical bar, the pipe character. Let's see if that is done. Okay, let's see here. Count 3. Can I now also do, just for show, all stats? There we go. Yes. So we put in an array with 3 items. Count 3. Makes sense. Average is 7. The sum is 21. Maximum 10, minimum 1. Standard deviation 5.19 something. Okay, now we have the thing that we want. We don't have to calculate them all. Minimum is fine. And we also only want the value of that. So could do the .NET notation type and reference .minimum like this. So I have one object, pipe it into a function, I get an object back. Put that whole thing in parentheses to handle that object, and then ask it for, through dot notation, ask it for its property minimum, which will get me just the value of the minimum property, not the whole object. So far, so good. Alternatively, I can do it the PowerShell way, if I'd like, if we want to call it that. And I can use sort object, which can take multiple things like a list and then, yep, sort it by something. Wait for this, it would be select, which can filter a list. Or select things out of a more complex object. Now I want to expand a property. I'm getting an object with multiple properties. I just want to have what is in that one. And the minimum is still 1. Okay, so we're getting the same output that we did get before. That's fine. Let's get the wrongly used math function out of the way. this is also a very long line of characters. How long is it? 109 characters. That is pretty long. It's not bad, but we can, especially after pipes, just do a line break and it'll be fine. PowerShell knows after a pipe that a command does continue, not a command but a chain of commandlets in this case, and yeah, therefore reads the next line as if it was in the same one. So smallest side, measure object, select object, sounds fine to me. Let's try that again. Invoke, solve one. We get 58 and 43. Let's check the examples again. Window switching is a lot. I should look into automating that. Present with dimensions, blah, blah, blah. 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 10. Those were the ones. 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 10. Yep, those are the ones we put in. So 58 and 43 is what was expected, and we got 58 and 43. Okay. Yeah, we also have our puzzle input already. Let's put that through the same script. I've got one thing, we want to summarize the thing. Yeah, sum it up. We don't need to write it out anymore. What we do want to do is get a total for our answer. So let's initialize that with a 0. Total wrapping paper amount. Here's another shorthand. We could write this equals itself plus, or what we also can do is plus equals as one operation. But not the total, but the wrapping paper amount for this present. Now we take the whole thing and return it. There we go again. So now we should get one line and not 1,000. It's a lot of wrapping paper. Put that over, and that's the right answer. You are 1 gold star closer to powering the weather machine. Let's see, part 2. The elves are also running low on ribbon. Friends, why? Ribbon is all the same width, so they only have to worry about the length they need to order, which they would like again to be exact. Ribbon required to wrap a present is the shortest distance around its sides or the smallest perimeter of any one face. Those are words. Each present also requires a bow made out of ribbon as well. The feet of ribbon are required for the perfect bow is equal to the cubic feet volume of the present. Okay. Don't ask how they tie the bow though, they'll never tell. Yeah. Because that sounds like some bullshit. Some baloney. That volume of the present decides how much they need for the bow. Okay, I'm not gonna question it. I'm not gonna question that. For example, present with the dimensions 2, 3, 4 requires 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 equals 10 feet of ribbon to wrap the present. Plus 2 times 3 times 4 equals 24 feet of ribbon for the bow, for a total of 34 feet. Okay. Let me get the formula straight. Shortest distance around its sides or the smallest perimeter of any one face. 2, 3, 4, meaning the smallest Smallest side is the 2x3 side. Smallest perimeter of any one face. Perimeter, not surface area. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, so that goes 2 feet around, 3 feet around, and that 2 times. Okay, okay, I'm starting to get what we're doing here. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna start working with objects now, because that's gonna be the easiest to think about it for me. Smallest perimeter of any one face. We can just do the perimeter of them all instead of the square units of the sides. That's probably even easier than doing objects. Part 2 of day 2, and I'm already digging in text that is or is not useful to me. Okay, let's see. Copy, paste, rename, solve 2. There we go. We're not working with wrapping paper, we are working with ribbon, total ribbon amount. We are again taking our input array and looking at the length, width and height of each present. The rest, however, is gonna be a bit different. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's again the left, the top and the front, but we're doing the perimeter, not the square units. So it's gonna be 2 times whatever plus 2 times again whatever. So yeah, if it's 2 by 3, then it's 2 plus 3. Okay, that should get us to the perimeter. Just making a comment, because that is something mildly unusual to calculate. But yeah, still makes kinda sense. Okay, so we need that amount of ribbon plus the cubic volume. Okay. So if the present is 24 cubic feet in volume, then it's 24 feet of ribbon for the bow. Okay, we can do that. Volume, easily enough. L times W times height. There we go. So the ribbon amount, not the total, but just for one present. Ribbon amount is equal to the volume plus the perimeter of the smallest side. So we're gonna steal the code from the other script again, because that's okay. Gonna call it the smallest side perimeter, because if I just say smallest side, I'm gonna confuse myself. Taking the total ribbon amount plus equal the ribbon amount. Okay, we did not rename those, so we can use them again. We still want the minimum. And take that perimeter plus the volume and add it to the ribbon amount. Okay. Let's do that. Script to same input. That is again a big number. Let's see if we can do anything with it. Answer. Submit. That's the right answer. You are 1 gold star closer to powering the weather machine. You have completed day 2. So pretty. So pretty. Okay, so all these small O's are gonna be orange, big O's are gonna be blue, and the @ signs are gonna be red. We have yellow stars. That's a pretty way to do it. That's a very nice ASCII tree with a lot of decoration. And this star is gonna be yellow as well. So, okay. Yeah, looking good. Okay, that was 2 days, 4 puzzles. I think that's a good point to take a little break and yeah, refill your drinks and see you in a bit. Alright, here we go again. Would you believe me that if I said that just now I realized that I'm not wearing headphones like I normally do while streaming? Because it's just some quiet music in the background and I hope there was no feedback for you the whole time. Yeah, for game sounds and especially when on Discord, that would be much worse. But I think for now it's fine. Okay, let me prepare my files over in VS Code and then we can get on with A3. Let me copy, paste a little bit and we are creating new files. Example.txt. And input.text. Okay, here we go. Taking out the logic here. 2, 2, 2, but there we go. Switching over to day 3. Here we go again. Okay. And we're going to invoke solve1. Right. Got all that prepared. We can take our example. Let's see what we have. Day 3. Perfectly spherical houses in a vacuum. What kind of space stuff are they doing at the North Pole? Santa is delivering presents to an infinite two-dimensional grid of houses. Okay. He begins by delivering a present to the house at his starting location, and then an elf at the North Pole calls him via radio and tells him where to move next. Moves are always exactly one house to the north, south, east or west. After each move, he delivers another present to the house at his new location. However, the elf back at the North Pole has a little too much eggnog, and so his directions are a little off. And Santa ends up visiting some houses more than once. How many houses receive at least one present? Okay. For example, right or east delivers presents to two houses, one at the starting location and one to the east. Up, left, down, up, right, down, left delivers presents to four houses in a square, including twice to the house at his starting ending location. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Yeah. Delivers a bunch of presents to some very lucky children at only two houses. Oh boy. Let's see. An infinite two-dimensional grid. So, some graphing paper. Every intersection of lines is a house. And we are moving in four cardinal directions. Okay. And we have to take note of which houses we pass by. If we pass by one multiple times, it's irrelevant to us. Okay, we could just create an array, note down the coordinates after each move, or before each move technically. We start with the starting coordinates. I'm gonna denote that as 0, 0, and then just add each new coordinate to the list, and then we count the unique entries in the list. Okay, yeah, that should work. Let me get the examples noted down. Just one to the right. Or we have 4 movements. Or we have a bunch of movements. Can I? No, I can't. Okay, there we go. I can also start getting the puzzle input. The official one, and note that down. Which is a pretty long string, but fine. Okay, so we have our 3 examples. We have our array. Technically the final input is just going to be 1 line, but I'm just going to keep the code with an array, so I can do that for each example at once. So gonna do a for each item. I'm gonna call that a route in the input array. There we go. Let's see. We want to record where we went. So gonna record the coordinates. Gonna start that with an array, as an array with 1 element. I'm just gonna record strings because it's easy. Also gonna create x and y variables. I can't do that in PowerShell, can't I? Is that allowed syntax? Yeah. Yeah, it is. But also without the... No, that's not allowed. But yeah, I can create a list of variables and give them all the same... I think I can give them all the same initial value. Let me try to call x. That is a 0. If this would be 1, and if I called that, x would be 1. Okay, so this value is assigned to all variables that are listed here. Okay, so we are initializing our coordinates. Do I want to make a function for that? No. So the initial coordinates that we are recording is 0, 0. That's where center is starting. And then for each item being the direction in the route, again getting a char array, not a car but a char array. So taking each character of the whole route description and following the direction. Now we have 4 directions, so I could again do the if-else, which also has an if-else, but I can do that a bit more elegantly with a switch statement. So I give it the direction, and switch will then evaluate whatever value it's yeah, gonna take whatever value it's given here, in this case whatever is currently in the direction variable, and go through all the cases that it has here. So this should be let's see, we are either traveling up or north, or east or west, or west, east or south. That would be the character for that. Okay, if we are traveling north, gonna do northeast, no, north, south and west, east. So if we're traveling north, we are incrementing x. If we're traveling to the left, meaning west, we are taking y and subtracting 1, decrementing y, meaning the other direction is y plus plus, and south is x minus minus. Okay. And after each direction traveled, we want to record the new coordinate so we can later count that. So we want to add something to the coordinates, and it's gonna be $x, $y, there we go. That should do the trick, and after we've done that, I just want to write post coordinates. Okay, just gonna go through that. Why is there nothing here? What are we doing first? We are traveling north. So we are incrementing x, then doing xy. Okay, if we want to add an element to a list, we have to do that in form of adding a list to the list, it seems. No? Let's see, do we have an add function that takes a value? Okay. Is this the one I'm looking for? Something went wrong, something went wrong. Can I please get to the first error in this string of errors? Okay, so this stuff doesn't work with lists. What does work is the add function. But an array is a fixed length in PowerShell, so I need a other list type object that allows adding to the list. And I always forget what that type was called. List block, list dictionary. Collection. Is this something? No. Okay, let me look into documentation stuffs. Arrays have a fixed size. Array list type. Let's see. Okay, let me get rid of that line for the time being. Unable to find the type array list. System collections array list. Aha, no. Okay, so we didn't want to use an array, we wanted to use a list, which in .NET is called an array list, which is a type of collection, a kind of collection. And in the system type class namespace, in the system namespace, there's a collections namespace in which exists a class by the name of array list. We can't call it directly because it's not one of the base types. Something like that. Don't quote me. This is the thing I wanted to remember. And that list should have a function or a method, sorry, add. Let me confirm that real quick. Yeah, IntelliSense tells me there is something to add here. That's weird. Since we set those two variables to 0 in the same line, they both point at the same 0. They're not both the value 0, they both point at the same object that initially has the value 0. Now they should be different objects. Something pointer magic. Or so I thought. Is there a append? No. I just wanted to add an item to this. Okay, let's look at that stuff. I did not switch back to the editor. Sorry for that. What I did was doing the array list and system collections array list. So yeah, what I said before, without visuals. Sorry. But going back to the documentation, system collections, namespace, array list. Okay. Just give me the English stuff. I have to prep a browser profile with proper extensions and all that. Okay, so it returns an integer. Object something value. Okay, the object to be added to the end of the array list. The value can be null. Returns an integer. The index at which the value has been added. Okay, that explains why we got all these counting bits. Let me put that somewhere else. Out. Now, PowerShell has several write and out functions to put objects and elements and stuff somewhere, and null is just nowhere. So whatever I pipe into this will just vanish. So we should get much shorter output. Yeah, there we go. And now this also looks a bit more like what I was expecting. So I don't even really have to read further. Let me hide that browser for you. There we go. So out null takes whatever I pipe in and just hides it somewhere. So we have our coordinates starting with the 0, 0 coordinate. We are moving, we are adding wherever we move to the array and doing out null. There we go. Write host writes the whole array that I give it. That's fine. But we want to know how many different houses we travel to. So I'm gonna take that and do a quick sort operation with the unique parameter. So we should only get those that are not doubled up somewhere. Or if they're doubled up somewhere, we're just getting one of them. And since we've been moving up, down, up there, we just traveled to 2 different ones. We traveled in a circle, so we had 4. We did 1 operation, so we get 2. Okay, that seems fine. And of the whole thing, we just want the count, meaning how many different ones were visited. 242. Getting over to the examples, 242. Okay, we have our puzzle input. Let me run that on our input. $2,565 houses. That's a lot of houses. And it's the right amount of houses. Okay, we did the thing. Part 2. The next year. I thought all this happened on December 3rd, 2015. Yeah, the next year, to speed up the process, Santa creates a robot version of himself, Robo Santa, to deliver presents with him. Santa and Robo Santa start at the same location, delivering 2 presents to the same starting house. Then take turns moving based on instructions from the elf, who is agnoggedly reading from the same script as the previous year. This year, how many houses receive at least 1 present? Isn't that the same thing? For example, up down delivers presents to 3 houses because Santa goes north and then Robo Santa goes south. Wait. Then take turns moving based on instructions from the elf. Santa goes north and then Robo Santa goes south. delivering two presents to the same starting house. Okay, then take turns moving. Oh, okay, okay. So the first instruction is for Santa, the second for Robo Santa, third again for Santa, the fourth for Robo Santa. Okay, okay. Northwest, south, northeast, southwest now delivers presents to 3 houses, and Santa and Robo Santa end up back where they started. Because they're both giving one at 0, 0. Santa at 1, 0, Robo Santa at 0, 1, and then they both move back to where they started. Okay, okay, okay. Now delivers presents to 11 houses, with Santa going one direction and Robo Santa going the other. Although it hasn't changed, you can still get your puzzle input. Okay. So we are now tracking 2 different sets of coordinates. The rest should remain the same. Copy. Paste. Rename. Solve 2. There we go. Okay, we are still going over routes. We are still starting at 0, 0. And we are taking now 2 sets of coordinates. Coordinates Santa and Robo Santa. There we go. Meaning we also need another tracker for our coordinates. Copy, not move. There we go. Santa. Robo Santa. Both starting wherever. Okay. We're still iterating over the directions. Yeah, and then we need to switch between who is handling each direction. How do I want to do this? I think I can just show you what I'm doing first of all. So yeah, same script, just doubled up the variables for Santa's coordinates and Robo Santa's coordinates. Okay, I'm just gonna do a Boolean, which is just true or false. Is Santa, so, or direction is for Santa. So, and the first one is, so we're setting that to true. So for each direction that we are given, if the direction is for Santa, we do what we did before. Just that we're doing it with the Santa set of variables. Okay. Otherwise, we are doing that for Robo Santa. So, else incrementing or decrementing the coordinates for Robo Santa, saving those to RoboCenter's list of coordinates. Okay, and at the end of this we need to switch over. So I could do this in fancy XOR stuff, logic operations, but if Santa has done one thing, the next one is for RoboCenter. And if RoboCenter has done one thing, the next one is for Santa. So on the next iteration of the loop, we're just doing the other block. We could also do that by not doing the for each, but doing the for with the I position variable and then go through the route there. I like to have my direction variable. I could set it manually. This is what I had. So, and if we had the I, we could, instead of flipping this one back and forth, we could check if the I is odd or even and go with that. But now I have this. This is written as you would read it and therefore easier for my mushy brain today. Okay. That logic so far is fine. Now we have to union or put those two together. Let me see, we want to know how many houses receive at least one present, so the question is still the same. So we still have the unique count. But we need to add those two together. Let's see, I don't want to add something, I want to union. Right. Expand. Okay. Just plus. This is very, very scripty shorthand. You can do this, but if I encounter this in a script, I do not know what's happening. B contains whatever. Okay, I kinda get, but please, for each object is not too much to ask. Okay, but we can just take the two arrays and union them by doing a plus. So it seems. So we're taking the coordinates Santa travel to and the ones RoboCenter travel to and doing a unique count again. Two, 3, 11, and if I check the example solutions, it should be 3. We have different examples. Sorry. Yeah, not gonna bother with that then, but we have these two. Okay, so the difference is this. This is the whole difference between the first and second example, because we need a... It's a lie. This is the difference. So we need a even number of things to give to both, because we have two Santas. So, okay. But yeah, for those that are identical, we get 3 and 11. Meaning we can do our full input. And we get a slightly higher number of houses. Copy. Let's see, submit that. That's the right answer. 1 gold star closer. That's 3 rows. Nice. So now's the question, do I want to do one more or is that enough? Because that was a lot of talking. Pretty much 2 hours. Yeah. Just a quick peek what we are dealing with on day 4. Oh god. Mining advent coins similar to bitcoins. Oh, please don't. Needs to find MD5 hashes in hexadecimal style. Okay, yeah. Wow. Okay, we're getting into crypto. That's a good reason to call it a day. I think. Not getting into crypto today. Because if someone asks you to get into crypto, politely deny, and if they ask you again, punch them and walk away. Because there's a whole nother can of worms. Crypto isn't worth it. You can make a lot of money with it. It's not worth doing what crypto is doing in the background. So, not getting into crypto today means this was my stream content for today. Thanks for sitting through this with me. I'm gonna do my stretches and call it a day. Alright. With that though, let's see if I can't send you somewhere with a raid. Because I always forget to do that. Let's see who's around. Yeah, I'm not looking for growth, so I think I'm fine with raiding friends and family. So let's see. Time to get over to Mizu. Mizu is streaming Still Wakes the Deep, which I think is a RPG. He's BRB at the moment. Ah, great. It's a horror game. Well, math was also horror, so we're kind of staying with the theme, don't we? I hear laughing from next room. Seems I said something correct. But yeah, there is a content warning: mature rated games, significant propensity or vulgarity. Yeah, it's probably just box standard horror. He back. Okay, I'd say that is good a reason as any. I'm gonna chill a moment in chat and then lay down or something. Who knows? Send my regards to Mizu. And yeah, maybe we're gonna code again soon. See you around, everyone. Bye bye.